Okay, so today we are going to look at business rules. So let's first look at what business rules are. So business rules are actually a good alternative to build validation on your forms. So when we'll go to the fourth module where we'll talk more about JavaScript. So basically JavaScript are used on the CRM forms in order to implement validation on the form, such as whenever some user is entering some value on a field, example on a font field, and if he's not entering the value as the specified format, then it will show an error message saying that you have entered the value not in the right format. Or as very simple example of a validation, such as whenever the user entering the date in the wrong format, you will get a error message on that, right? Error message, or it will show that, some way it will show an alert to the user. And even other example would be like if a person is leaving a mandatory field, it will show an asterisk over there showing that this is a mandatory field, or in terms of MSCRM functionality, it is a business required field, so you need to fill up that field. So these are kind of validations that you can implement on your CRM forms using JavaScript until 2013. So in CRM 2013, Microsoft has come up with a new feature known as business rule, using which you can implement your validation on the CRM forms without writing any single JavaScript code. So even system administrators or power users can implement business rules and validation without knowing anything about JavaScript or coding. So it tried to avoid the use of JavaScript for form validations. Yeah, that is about business rules. So let's have an idea about what all the ways we can use your business rules. So in order to use your business rule, you need to go to you need to go to the customization part first of all. So we can access it from the four different ways. One is directly you can access it from the solution. Yeah, you can go to the particular default solution, then go to that entity where then we'll go to the form where we'll get. Others will go to the solution, the entity, the form, and from the field. Then the third one is like you can go to form editor, then you'll get the business rule section, and also directly from the form editor you can go to the field. So either from a field or from a entity or a form, you can access the business rules. So we will see that now. So here we have, okay, so now I will just navigate to account records, and that particular account record. Okay, so one way of accessing these business rules is from the form editor. Directly you can access the form editor from the form, or you can go to the default solution, go to the entity, go to the particular form, there also you can access. So here we have the option. So once I click on the business rule, I can see one business rules explorer on the right hand side. So what all the business rules which are already implemented for this particular entity form precisely would be appearing here. So if you don't have any business rules created, it will be blank, and you also have an option to create a new business rule from here. So with this we will use in a moment. So this is how you can access it from directly from the form editor. The other way of doing it would be from your default solution. Then go to a particular entity forms, then the same option you will have. Yeah, this is nothing but the same thing. And the other way of doing it is from the fields. You can navigate to any of the fields over here. There you get the business rules which are specific to this field. Yep, you can create it. And also one more way you can access from directly from the form editor. You can go to any particular field, for example phone number. I can double click on it to get the edit options, and go to details, business rules. There also you can get the option of business rules. So these are the 4 different ways you can access the business rules from your forms as well as from fields. Okay, so and in addition to this, the business rules has a scope as well. So there are basically 3 types of scopes for business rules. One is entity, second is all forms, and third one is specific form. Okay, so this entity option is new in 2015 CRM version. So what will happen, it will run on all the forms of that particular entity. For example, if I am creating a business rule for account entity, it will run on all the forms of account plus on the server. So ideally business rule is to run the logic on the client side on the form, but it will run on the server as well. In some situation we may need to run the business logic on the server side as well. In that situation you can use the entity scope. If it is normal way it is need to run on the client side, you can use the all forms scope. Then if you want to run on a specific form, then we can use the third option. Specific form means if I go to account, I got multiple forms. If I want my business rules need to be executed or validated only on this particular form, mobile express form, then I can use specific form scope. So we will see that when you create a new business rule. That's about the scope of business rules. Yeah, so let's see what are the uses of business rules in CRM. So like I mentioned, we can use business rules instead of JavaScript in order to implement validation on your CRM forms. So what type of validation you can use? So you can make a field business record whenever the value in another field is changed. Also you can set the value of a field based on various criteria. For example, if someone is changing a value on one particular field and you have a total field, right? Total field is the sum of basic plus HRA plus TA. That is a value that should come on the total field. So any value, any of the values such as basic or HRA or TA changes, then you can put a you can create a business rule. What will happen, any moment whenever the field changes, the business rule will execute and it will add up the values in these 3 fields, that is HRA plus basic plus TA, and it will set that value to the total field, and then calculate the value in a field based on the values of other field. That is exactly what we are talking about. Then show an error message. It can be alert, or it can be just a notification also. Then show or hide fields, and or enable disable field depends upon some criteria or values entered in another field. So these are all can be done using JavaScript. For example, if I need to hide this phone field whenever email ID is there, right? Whenever a value is there in the email field, then I don't need phone number. That's my criteria. That's my business requirement. So in such a situation we can implement that one. So depends upon the value of the email field, I can hide or unhide font field, that's possible, or I can disable or enable form field based on the value of some other field. Not only on form fields, or the tabs also we can implement. Yeah, so that's about business rules. And like we have mentioned here, one of the slide above, business rules are used to replace JavaScript, but even at this point in time we cannot replace JavaScript entirely by business rules, because business rules are even today is a subset of JavaScript functionality. So if you want to go for something very complex, then still we need to go for JavaScript and write the code. But yes, it is it is a major improvement over writing JavaScript in order to customize anything on the form. So even a normal business user or functional consultant can create a business rules and implement the validation. They don't need to wait for the system admin or the developer to implement the validation. So that way it is a great improvement on the functionality, and because of the same reason this is known as portable business logic. Why? Because this is along with the forms. So whatever logic you implement on the as business rule, that will go along with the form wherever it is implemented. You don't need to take it separately whenever you moving from one system to another one. Now let's see how we can create new business rules. So in order to create a business rule, we need to give the scope of business rule first. Then we need to mention some validations. So validations are very easy. We know what are the validation that we use while you're writing programs, right? So it's very basic validation we have. We need to mention if, else, else if. So when business rules implemented in 2013, we had only if condition. If something happen, I can do this one, or else some other condition. In 2015 they have added else if also. So if something happens, some condition happens, I will do some particular operation, else I will do some other set of operation, and if that also not happening, then I have the if else option. So yeah, it should be if else, else, right? Okay, so let's see how we can create some business rules. So in this example, what we are trying to do is we are setting the offer discount, right? Depends upon the purchase time frame. So if the purchase time frame is immediate, then we will set the opportunity discount as 5%, right? So that's how we'll do. We will put one condition, then we'll put an action. So here you can see, if you can see it, we'll put if and else condition. So in this clause I'll put if then, and I will put a condition if purchase time is equal to immediate. Then under action I'll put some action, what the operation need to be done. Here I'm setting the opportunity discount as 5%. Like that I can add multiple condition. I can club this together using and or. If purchase time frame is equal to immediate and some other condition, or using or, you can say or some other condition. Like this action also I can do multiple action. So here I'm setting the discount to 5%. In addition to that, I can show an error message along with it. I can disable some field. Like that I can do multiple operations. Okay, so that's about if field. Then here I can add if else. There also I can have a condition and action. Like that I can loop multiple if else conditions. Okay, so let's create one. Yeah, what we'll do is we will implement that on the lead. Wherever we need, we can do it. First of all, we need to go to form editor. We need to edit the form. We need to access the business rules. Then we'll click on new business rule under business rule explorer. It is pretty simple. First of all, I need to give a name of discount. On lead we don't have a offer field, by the way. Okay, what I'll do is we will make up a condition. If the purchase time frame is equal to immediate, then I will put the rating as hot. Okay, if the purchase time frame is anything other than this immediate value, I will put the rating as warm or cold. Okay, that's the condition we are going to put here. So we'll make it set rating as per purchase time frame. That's a name we are going to give. Then click on save. Okay, at least one action. Then here we have this loop, if then condition. So under condition I can click on add new condition. It will give me an option to select all the fields. So here it will show me all the fields. So here you can see the scope. Yeah, so by default it is on the lead form. So I will save it and show you, or I will close it and show you. So these are the, so all the forms means it will execute on all the forms of the lead. Information means it will be run on the information form. Lead means lead form, and the entity means it will execute on all the forms as well as on the server, and these are the individual two forms, information and lead. So I'm going to make it run all the forms. Okay, after that I'll put the condition, time frame. Here we have purchase time frame equals, I can put the operator here just like we mentioned on advanced find. Just use equals. I'm going to use here. I can mention the value. Two options I have in the type, value or field. So if I'm using field, what it exactly means, purchase time frame equal to value in some other field. If I want to compare two fields, values of two fields, I can use it. For example, if I want to compare purchase time frame equal to the value in industry field, I can use it. If I want to directly compare it against a value, I can use it. That's purchase time frame equal to immediate value. Click on this field. Yeah, so I set one condition. Like that I can add more condition. Okay, and we are trying to make it simple. And as action, I need to add some action. What we are going to do here, so I can do this many actions over here. Okay, so I can show an error message. I can set a field value. I can set the field as business required. I can set the visibility. I can set a default value field for this field. I can lock, unlock field. So these are the operation I can do. So what here we are going to do, we are going to set a field value. Yeah, so which field I need to set? Rating, right? Rating field, and what is the field value I am going to set it. So here I can, under the type I can set it as field. That means I can set the value in the rate field to some other value of some other field, or I can select a value, right? I can make it as hot, or I can even use a third value, that is clear. That means the value here on that rating field will be cleared. So I'm going to use the second option, that is value, and I set it to hot. Yeah. So in addition to that, I can also add one more condition. Instead of showing an error message, I can show a message, not exactly error message. Rating is set to hot. Yep. Cool. So we've set one condition, and now I can put other condition as well under the else if. This is an optional, only if condition and the action is mandatory. The second one is optional. So I'm going to put the same one now, purchase time frame equal to value, anything other than this. Yeah, or I can put this way, this quarter or next quarter. Then I'm going to put an action as set field value, set the rating field to value, warm. I'm going to make one more condition at the end, and else. Yeah, here I don't want to put the value. Action is equal to set field value, rating is equal to value is equal to cold. Okay, so it's clear. The purchase time frame is equal to immediate. I am going to put the rating as hot. If the purchase time frame is equal to this quarter or next quarter, I am going to set the rating to warm, and in all other values of purchase time frame I am going to set the rating to cold. So I can put some message also here, rating set to warm, okay, cool. So we have updated this one, and now I need to save it. Yeah, still it is in the draft mode. I need to activate it. So only activated business rule will execute whenever the condition is met. yes. Okay, so activated, and the status changes to activated. Now let's try it with how it is working. So I need to go to lead form, and what I need to do is I need to change this to immediate. I will do one thing, I'll change it to next quarter and save it. Here you can see it's set to warm now. Why this error message is showing, error symbol is showing? Because we have set error message also, right? So it's look a little weird when you see this red mark, but you can see once you mouse over it, you can see rating set to warm. Same way, if I put to this year, I can set it set to cold. If I change it to immediate, set to hot. So error message also you can see, right? Like that you can do that. So if I want to make any changes, I need to deactivate it. Okay. And now let me remove this action. Once I select on it, I'll get a option to delete it. Click delete, because that error message doesn't look good. Save it and activate. Just refresh your form once. Yeah, now when you change, you can see the changes happening over here. Cool. Yep. So that's about it. So here we have one more example. So that's also similar. What we are trying to do here is set the exchange rate business record. So this one is working on knowledge article views, this business rule. So if the status of this knowledge article views is equal to active, we are setting the exchange rate as business record. So here you can see, here you can see set business record. So the else condition, we are checking again if currency doesn't equal to contain values, then you can put some. So this is pretty simple. Once you understand the basics of it, so you can play around with the 6 options.